Before you knew your name, before you understood the world, you knew her face. I was there. I am memory. You remember almost nothing from the beginning, yet somehow, love arrived before words. Your first memories were not sentences. They were warmth, touch, safety. A face became familiar, familiar became safe, and safety became something you would spend a lifetime trying to find again. Years passed, but the oldest memories remained hidden beneath everything you became. And then came another memory, the first moment you believed someone you loved was gone. Fear taught memory something love could not, how precious a familiar face becomes when it disappears. Son? Because memory does not keep everything. It keeps what changed you. You had seen her leave the room before, but this morning felt different. Long before you understood goodbye, you learned to recognize it in someone's eyes. Memory attaches itself to ordinary things, because ordinary things are sometimes all we have left. Some goodbyes hurt only later, when we finally understand what they meant. You tried to remember everything, her face, her smile, the way she looked back. But memory is cruel in a strange way. Details fade first. Years passed. Her voice became harder to hear inside your mind. You looked at photographs not because you had forgotten her, but because you feared that one day you might. And that was when you discovered something strange. Absence can become a memory of its own. Years ago, you watched someone leave this road. Soon, you would become the one walking away. When you were young, leaving home felt like freedom. You walked past places that once meant everything, without realizing you were seeing them for the last time. Places remember for us when we become too busy to remember for ourselves. Ahead was everything you wanted. Behind was everything that made you. The world gave you thousands of new faces, yet none of them felt familiar. Then one forgotten object opened a door no road could reach. Memory does not return chronologically. It returns emotionally.
Suddenly,
Home was not a building. It was 1,000 tiny moments you never knew you were collecting. You had traveled farther than ever before. Yet that night, your heart traveled backward. And then, among thousands of strangers, another face became impossible to forget. You would forget thousands of faces from that city, but not hers. Memory rarely announces which moment will change your life. Sometimes, an ordinary goodbye becomes the beginning of everything. You did not remember every conversation. You remembered how being beside her made the world feel different.
love begins when someone becomes trusted with the memories you protect most.
It's beautiful. Thank you. I wanted to share it with you. Eventually, you stopped remembering home only as somewhere behind you. You began building another. Then life gave you a memory, before the moment had even happened. And suddenly, you understood a memory you had carried since before you could speak. The moment repeated itself. Different hands, Different generation, the same love. Happiness gave you memories you wanted to keep forever. But I also carried the memories you spent your life trying to escape. But buried memories do not disappear. They wait. You remembered the suitcase, the road, the silence, but most of all, you remembered being left behind. Yet childhood remembers feelings more clearly than explanations. The memory had never changed.
But you had.
Sometimes we understand our parents only after becoming what they once were. Pain changes when it becomes a story you are finally able to tell.
Tell me more about Mom, Dad.
She was the bravest woman I ever knew. You could not rewrite the past. But you could decide what the past would become. Healing did not erase the memory. It simply removed its power to keep hurting you. You spent your life afraid of memories that would not leave. Until one day. All your life, you feared remembering too much. Until forgetting became the greater fear. First, I took the smallest things. A voice, a date, the shape of a distant morning. You knew someone had once stood there, even when you could no longer see her clearly. Then names began slipping away, followed by faces you once believed impossible to forget. Strange, how the mind can lose a face while the heart still remembers a touch. Recognition sometimes survives where recollection cannot. One tiny object opened doors that words could no longer unlock. He could no longer tell the story. But somewhere inside him, the story still knew him. When one mind can no longer carry a memory, another can carry it forward. And that was when you discovered my greatest secret. Memory was never meant to live inside one person forever. When your memories began leaving you, your life did not leave with them. Some memories survive without becoming words. You thought memory lived in the mind, but you had been leaving pieces of it everywhere. A forgotten moment became a story, and a story became inheritance. The hand that once reached for his mother had become the hand another generation reached for. Different hands, different years, the same invisible thread. A lifetime had passed, yet somehow the beginning was still here. He could not remember the old field. But the old feeling remembered him. Perhaps this is what remains. Not perfect memories, but the love they taught us to give. One day, even your name may become a story, but if something you gave continues through another life, were you ever truly forgotten? He could no longer remember every chapter of his life, so others remembered for him. Look at Papa here. When he was strong and brave, memory had carried him back to where everything began. A lifetime was never one story. It was thousands of moments connected by meaning. You measured life in years. I remembered it in moments. Not every moment survived, only the ones that became part of who you were. And you were never alone. Every human being carried a universe no one else could completely see. Civilizations remembered kings. History remembered wars. But I remembered the moments that made you human. Billions of lives, billions of stories, none remembered perfectly, none lived without leaving something behind. In the end, you were never everything you remembered. You were what your memories taught you to become. I am memory. I cannot keep every face, every word, every day. But I keep what changes you.